Hi, I'm Stephanie Ricca, Editorial Director of CoStar News Hotels, here today in conversation with Karim Alibhai, founder and CEO of Gencom. Gencom, of course, is a Miami-based hotel investment company, owner, developer, manager of hotels. Thanks for being with us today, Karim.
It's really a pleasure.
We're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, luxury hotels, but first I want to ask you a fun question. You've been in this business for a long time, you do a lot in this space. Do you still feel excitement and fun every time you walk into a luxury hotel?
Yes, very much so. I feel like this is part of my DNA, and whether it was the fact that I started at a completely non-luxury start in my career, and today being able to traverse in the luxury segment and continue to create different experiences and make hopefully quite smart investments, always has the drive and excitement sitting with me.
Yes, so exciting places where there's a lot of opportunity for a company like yours, right? So to the news at hand, in early February, Gencom bought the Ritz-Carlton New York Central Park, including the condo unit, for $320 million. Congratulations on that deal. What are your plans for the hotel and the condos? Will it change much?
Yeah, so firstly, this is obviously an iconic both building and location, being Central Park, New York. It is the type of asset that one would say is quite irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. And the barriers to entry, both in finding the land, the location, and what it would cost to build from ground up today, would be just not possible.
Impossible.
Be impossible. So firstly, being able to secure an opportunity like this well below replacement cost was really a function of right time, right place, coupled with our track record of performing when we take on these complex acquisitions, really helped us secure the deal. We were competing with some very big names, the Qatari groups that own the Plaza Hotel in St. Regis, Blackstone, 6th Street, you name it, but we were able to secure it. And we had 65 days to get the transaction done, which is ambitious.
You're kidding.
For a deal of this size and complexity. And this is going through Thanksgiving and Christmas to get it done, but that was a bet we had to make to get it in our hands.
Oh, sure, it was the 65 days leading up right in the holiday period. Wow.
Right in the holiday period. So our plans, what we saw was an absolute jewel in the rough. In that, what I mean is, as I said again, iconic location, great brand, is that the hotel had not been optimized for quite some time. The condominiums were already sold, mm-hmm. but a lot of things were broken. The food and beverage losses are significant. Mm-hmm. At the same time, the guest experience in food and beverage was not where we would like to see in a luxury property like this.
Sure, that can make it or break it in luxury.
Exactly. And then coupled with amazing sized rooms, but the finishes, the FF&E all needed major upgrades and improvements. Mm-hmm. So we saw an opportunity to come in and reposition the whole F&B operation, come in and do a significant renovation, maybe introduce a members club because we have the spaces for it.
Oh, interesting.
And really taking it another 2 notches from where it is today.
Now, you mentioned that it was a competitive bidding process. The bigs are back in, like Blackstone. Foreign investment is coming back into New York. This is your third transaction in New York in just over a year, really, when you look at it. Talk us through the highlights of how you got these 3 deals done in New York. And just to refresh, so you bought the Thompson Central Park at the end of 2024, and then the Intercontinental New York Times Square in December. So what about the market and the dynamics, knowing that competition was back in, made these deals work for you for Gencom?
So each one had its own unique characteristics, but which is the first big bet we made is we want to be in New York City. why do we want to be in New York City when a lot of people were saying, look, the profitability of hotels has really come down, labor is very expensive, and so forth. We said, well, here's what's happening. We think demand is going to continue to outpace supply in New York City. And in spite of international travel,
Right.
there is still always a significant demand for New York City, from business travel, from just other visitation,
Sure.
events. So that was the first piece. Then we said, okay, what are the type of properties we want to target? So we said, look, upper upscale of a good size versus select service, smaller size
Sure.
hotels. And with that in mind, as we started getting quite active, the Thompson, which was formerly the Parker Meridian, great location, 57th Street.
Right.
A complete renovation had been done by Elliott Capital and GFI. Unfortunately, the timing was not good because they were caught in the pandemic.
Oh, yes.
It cost them a lot, and they made a decision that they would like to get out of it. And for us, we looked at it and said, to be able to step in on a fully renovated hotel in New York City at this pricing, at this basis, is quote unquote a no-brainer.
Right.
Coupled with our relationship with Hyatt Corporate, who really views this as one of their top Thompson brand locations, we were able to structure a very aligned deal with Hyatt, the manager, on this. So taking those pieces, we're pleased to say that in the first year from acquisition, in year 2, our net operating income has more than doubled. Same hotel, same manager. Yes, while we had the tailwinds of demand, but we were able to implement our asset management strategies from years of experience in this space to really optimize the performance of this asset.
In a year.
In a year.
Which is not typical. And I want to ask you a little bit more about your asset management strategy, particularly for luxury, where, you know, these are hotels where the brands like to manage themselves. How are you kind of getting involved there? How is that strategy for you different, knowing that you've got a brand that wants to manage, but an asset that you've really got to protect your investment in?
So it's a combination of things. Firstly, the brands have a lot of respect for us. And why a lot of respect for us, maybe compared to others? They see us as long-term, active, and doers, i.e. we put our money where our mouth is. What do I mean by that? So let's say in one of our projects, we just recently did a major completion, the Ritz-Carlton in Key Biscayne in Miami.
Yes.
So while there was no brand requirement for us to come and spend over $100 million and redo the asset, we volunteered and said, look, we would like to work with you. We're going to add a beach club, but we think it's now 25 years and we want to move it to another level of luxury. But you're going to work with us on making sure that we get best performance on rate management strategy, food and beverage, and so forth. With that, so many examples like that, that the brand really listens to us, works with us, and it's not their way or the highway sort of mentality, which is what many owners working with brand managers say, oh, they don't listen to us, we have to show up at quarterly meetings, they give us a report and they look at us
And that's it.
glaze-eyed. Whereas with us, they see us with a carrot and stick approach. You use that, tongue-in-cheek in the sense that the carrot is, hey, look, we will refinish, redo these hotels or build them to a level and style that we make the brand very proud. But on the other hand, we are going to demand performance
Sure.
like there's no tomorrow, and we can't just have, oh, this GM has been in our system for 35 years, we want to move him or her to Key Biscayne. No,
Just
is
to a
this
new
the best,
spot,
most qualified
sure.
person?
Okay. It seems like luxury is having a little bit of a mini boom, I guess, when it comes to transactions this year. You know, you've done these deals. We saw the two other, I always, for the host, sold the two Four Seasons. Rumors that the Waldorf is for sale. Luxury, of course, has sort of outperformed other segments over the last 12 to 24 months. Is that really what's driving this demand for luxury sales? Is that bid-ask gap coming together more? What makes it such a good time for luxury to sell?
I think it's a combination. Yes, the bid and ask have narrowed down, as we saw with our New York acquisitions.
Yes.
Even the Ritz-Carlton New Orleans that we acquired last year. So that's one piece that makes it more workable. But two, the long-term trends continue to favor luxury. Now, what's happening is, and I think we've all heard now the words ultra luxury and luxury.
Yes.
And so as we look at it, a huge entry of people able to afford what I would call normal luxury. What's normal luxury? Again, don't want to pigeonhole, but it could be a Ritz-Carlton, it could be a Four Seasons. Those are becoming, in a sense, more affordable to a much larger class of people.
Sure.
And also, groups, FIT and so forth.
Right, as that business comes back, as international travel even slightly starts to pick up.
Exactly. So demand for the luxury segment continues to outpace both supply, and the trends really are favoring it. Ultra luxury is now going to the rarefied of Cheval Blanc, certain Rosewoods, Aman.
Okay, Aman.
And those are, smaller, very, very expensive. Like, we just finished what I would call our first real ultra luxury is the Ritz Reserve in Costa Rica, which cost us north of $2.5 million a room. Very, very expensive, but the demand and the rates that they're able to fetch in the right location with the right mix of residential and hotel, it works.
So, ultra luxury, you believe, is a separate segment?
Yes.
Okay. Is it something that you, given what you've just said about the demand, pretty consistent demand for it, is that something you want to get into more?
Very selectively. And I'd say very selectively because the best way to put it is our bread and butter of I would call normal luxury has worked very well for us. And so we would like to continue to do as much investing as we can in that. Time to time, opportunity, just like in Costa Rica, we had normal luxury with the Four Seasons, the Andas, Auberge. When an opportunity to do an ultra luxury came up, where all the sun, moon, and stars were aligned.
Right. You were ready for it.
We were ready for it. So that's the type of stuff. For example, we're looking at a project right now in Marbella, Spain, that we hope will be an ultra luxury project.
And it's hard to deny that demand when you see it, right? Which in this economy, and it's more than just a trend. I think we've seen enough runway up to it to see how wealthy people travel, and I don't know that that's going to change. I want to ask you one more question about branded residential, which I think is sort of a given now that is going to be an element of any luxury development moving forward, whether you're in a resort location or an urban location. Is that true?
Mind repeating that question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is branded residential going to continue to be a must for every luxury development, whether it's resort or urban?
Yes, for a new development, I think it's an absolute necessity. It'd be foolhardy to try and just do and think that you could deliver on all the amenities that the luxury traveler expects without build, and you can only afford that if you have a residential
Sure.
component to it.
And how about those elements like you mentioned, beach club, membership, like members club? Is that the next iteration for normal luxury in terms of a little bit more revenue exclusivity?
Correct. I think as the luxury continues to evolve, more avenues for income generation are both required but also make sense, whether it is not just doing, in the old days, a Ritz-Carlton would have the grill restaurant.
Right.
All the grill restaurants, whether it's Boston or Cancun, would look the same. Today, you need to take advantage of that real estate and say, let me bring a Carbone in here, or let me bring
That sounds good.
So you can really optimize not only your profitability for that space, but the guest experience. The guest now wants to say, what food and beverage restaurants and bars do you have at this location? Because that will dictate if I want to stay here or stay somewhere else. And then things like the beach club, we now have probably like 10 plus beach clubs in our portfolio. And the Key Biscayne one is our latest one, because what we're finding is the membership, not only the initiation fees, but the dues are very sticky income, i.e. you might even go through a recession or a pandemic, most people will still pay their dues.
They'll keep that.
They may travel
once
a
they've
little bit
had
less.
a taste of it.
They don't want to be out of the club membership.
Right.
So that provides a very nice and a demand for your food and beverage. So it all kind of works hand in hand.
That exclusivity. People want it, and I think Gencom is here to get it. Thank you so much for joining us, Karim. It was great to chat with you.
Really, really a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Isaac Colazo, Vice President of Analytics at STR.
Hi, and I'm Jan Freitag, National Director for Hospitality Analytics for the CoStar Group. Tune in to our new show, Tell Me More, a hospitality data podcast.
It's a podcast on the global hotel industry, its current trends, what we're thinking about, and where the industry's going.
And we like to have fun with the data too. Find us on hotelnewsnow.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe today.
This episode of the CoStar News Hotels podcast was recorded on March 17, 2026 by Meredith Sheridan at the 2026 Hunter Conference. It was edited for the podcast by me, Stephanie Ricca. Find all hotel industry news at costar.com/hotelnews. Thanks for listening.